So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create Harvard style or APA style referencing inside of Perplexity. Now, there's no simple way of doing this. We're going to have to go through a set of instructions as to how to set this up. So the current situation, if you ask Perplexity a question, it will give you a response. You are going to have some kind of number as the reference, and these numbers will link to sources. And you should still get the sources here, but the technique we're going to use is going to remove these numbers and replace it with Harvard style or with APA style referencing. So guys, we're going to start off by just quickly explaining why you want to do this. With the numbered referencing, I personally almost never use this. It requires going here and then trying to figure out which reference was used where. With the Harvard style or APA, you can see the reference and the dates inside of the paragraph. So this is what they use in universities, in academia, just to make sure the students are referencing the correct type of sources, high quality sources. And it's also used by students to avoid plagiarism, because if you reference everything properly, you've avoided plagiarism. I use it because I want to know whether the AI is basically doing the right thing or not. If it's going around referencing, this is a question about Japanese government bonds, which is very boring. Hopefully remains that way. Now the Japanese bonds, I would expect the BOJ, Bank of Japan, to be referenced somewhere here. I would expect the IMF, I would expect the Financial Times. If I'm not seeing those, I would say this is probably research that I need to go a little bit further on. I can see the list of references down here. And if you've used APA and Harvard style referencing, this sort of thing will be very familiar. Now, I'm going to explain how to do this. I'm going to explain the limitations, and I'll also explain how you could try to improve it using your own resources. Now, to create this, we go into space. And we need to, inside of spaces, we need to create a new space. So let's just create a new space. I think I can just paste something here, or you can put in whatever title you want. Now, once you put reference style, you can put in a description, and you need to give the style the instructions that I'm going to give you. So it's going to be some instructions, and we're going to use the space here to actually, we're going to use the space here to the space here, not the space down here, but the space itself to create the right prompt so that it will actually give us the correct responses. Now, there are limitations. I tried to get it to create bibliographies. It just doesn't want to do that. And it doesn't want to track down the name of the author of a website. It just has real struggles doing that. Let me explain what I'm saying here. Now, if I'm looking at this website here, I can tell within a second, this is the guy who wrote this particular page, published 5 hours ago. AIs, no matter how complex and fantastic they are, they seem to struggle finding the author of the article. They also struggle with bibliographies. So let's go ahead and delete the section on bibliographies. So definitely feel free to edit this document or this instruction as you see fit. You may want to change the name of the universities I'm using to whatever universities you attend, and maybe include a couple of universities. Or if it's your own university, just include it a couple of times here. We may need to copy and paste these into a different section as well. Add a description. You can add an emoji as well. Let me just choose some random thing. Hit continue. You've now got your space, and we can edit the space. There's a section here where it's going to give us the ability to edit the space. So you can add the links again here. Now, if I add the links, it's going to dox me, so I'm not going to do that. You can also edit files. You can add files to the space from your own university. If you've got a university style, you've got an institutional style for APA or for Harvard, just upload that here, and you can edit the instructions anytime you want. And for whatever reason, the second time that we come to edit this, we get the option to include web by default or to turn that off. This is when you're doing research using books and magazines and periodic journals. And this is when you wanted to use the entire internet. Save. Your space is ready. Now, the way to improve it is to go here and add files that are relevant to your own institution. That improves it significantly because it makes it more specific to your own use case. And also add obviously the relevant links here. In the instructions, you want to experiment with the instructions to see if you can get them to work a little bit more the way that you want it to work. Now this works really well for me, but it may not be ideal for you. So you want to come here and just change things. And whenever you want to turn off the web search and just upload a few books, come here, do that. You can go ahead and upload the books into the question box here, and you can ask questions. I find that this works most of the time, just attaching files. Some of the time it refuses to attach a file. Sometimes, some of the times there's all sorts of problems, but you can contact them. You can contact Perplexity over Discord if you have a problem. But basically that is a way of using APA and Harvard referencing. If we go to one of the sections that I created and see the answer that it gave, let's look at one again about the Japanese bonds. If we come down here, you can go ahead and click on the links here. They are clickable. I've ensured that it produces clickable links. And what you will be able to do is to look if you can get the page coming up. Sometimes it doesn't give us the exact page. So sometimes it's a bit silly and just doesn't give the link to the exact page. But if it gives you a link to the exact page, you can click on the link to the exact article, and then what happens is that the author, you can get the author's name. For some referencing styles, it does rely on the author's name rather than the website. For me, I prefer to have the website rather than the author's name. One of the other things to bear in mind is that sometimes it just reverts to its default style of referencing. And in that situation, you can just basically ask it to rewrite using a different model, or alternatively, what you can do is to just say to it, please reformat the answer in the style that I want it, that I've asked you to format it in, or pointing exactly to what you want changed. So here, for instance, I would want the articles to be clickable. I might say, can you make the links clickable, and hit return, and it should try to make a job of fixing any problems that it has encountered. It has this tendency to go back to its default settings, which is the numbered lists, and you sometimes have to fight against that a little bit, but most of the time it seems to work out fine.